So it was obvious. What was ringing in my head was, how do I now get some information that I don't even have to get if I don't know? Because Sake will always post something about Nigeria, and if you ring him, he will elaborate to tell you this is this. I said, but all of us are here. So how do you get this information? He said, because you're not interested. If you're interested, he was a good man. He was a good in-law. I didn't visit him so often like that. But again, a couple of times I went to his house. We were mostly when my sister was around. And he first of all said, you're here now because your sister is here. My in-law, whether they remember his in-law. I said, listen. I said, well, with the chat now. He said, okay, if Facebook not there again, we're not going to talk, have we? I said, okay. So, he was such a funny person, very lively person. And each time you discuss with him, you will have something to take home. May his soul rest in peace. He was a good man.
Who else do we have? Okay, I've got a lot of people from this line. Can I just quickly take somebody from there, then I'll come over to you guys, please, if that's okay. Okay, do you want to come over? Do you want to come over there? I have two of you, so I think what I'll do is, if you stand right here, perhaps you want to sit over there, so thank you.
Good afternoon. I thought I got away with this because the other case stood up and said that I've been pushed forward. My name is Ronnie. I'd also worked with Kay when he moved from Working Links to Kilburn Job Centre. Kind of last year we had there was arguably one of the best times I had in the DWP. Not least because the people I worked with made it a pleasure, but Kay didn't need to manage us. He didn't need to micromanage. Everybody knew what they were doing, and we just got on and did it. Whereas some managers, when there are issues or situations, you go looking for them. You didn't have to go looking for Kay. I often wondered if he often wore Kevlar under his suit, because no matter who it was, how big they were, he was there. He would defend and he would have your back. Even if you were in the wrong, he will defend you and deal with you later. Another thing, he was always very smartly dressed. I remember when we started having dress down Fridays, once a month he could just about manage. When we moved to Harlesden, there was another vote and it became every Friday. I'm sure I saw his face drop. Because it was one thing for him to have to deal with the public who were getting more and more casual. He would come into a job centre and they don't look like they're ready to take an interview if there's an employer in, never mind find a job. And there were a couple of occasions where some of our female clientele wore clothes that really weren't appropriate for an office environment. And there was one time, I've never seen my desk so popular. Kay was there with a gentleman I think I've seen earlier today who was also from Working Links. They came by my desk, ended up standing behind me. Lola, who was here a bit earlier, also walked by with a kind of look of disdain on her face at this young lady's attire. Kay then leans into me and says, "You need to have the talk with her." Trying to tell someone how you should dress when you go to somebody else's place of work isn't an easy thing to do. And it's even more difficult when Kay is behind you, listening to every word you are saying, to make sure what you're doing is kind of professional and respectful, yet not trying to put somebody down. Somehow it works, partly because the fear of Kay makes it work. There were times working with Kay, like the other Kay, I didn't always see eye to eye with Kay. We would often have disagreements, like heads, but there was always a lot of respect, especially when there were tough times, especially when we moved to Harlesden. I never really asked him how difficult it was for him to try to how difficult it may have been for him to support us, his team who came over from Kilburn, when things weren't going so well. And yet they still went well, and he still did his job and then some. And for that I will forever be grateful. He was quite a fella. And a lot of what he did, he never crowed about. He just did, and tomorrow was another day. I'm really pleased to have known him and worked with him. But I'm sorry for those of you that have had him in your lives, and he's not there going forward. Thank you.
Hi all. Bit of a difficult one because all of the people ahead of me who spoke about Kay in a work setting, it kind of all rings true. It's exactly how I knew him, so it's nice that he did his way of working and managing. It didn't change, so it's really, really nice. I had the pleasure of being managed by Kay from 2008 to 2011. At that time I was facing redundancy and he kept offering me a job, so I was really, really grateful. I'm a lot more older now, and you look back at those times when you really wanted to leave a job or you just thought it was a chore and you just wanted to get out. But now I look back at it and thinking that was a really, really brilliant time in my life. Home life, work life all clicked, and that was really down to Kay, how he made the workplace. It was almost like coming into work with another family, lots of banter. As the colleagues in working links know, it was Greg's at 11 o'clock and then 1 o'clock it was McDonald's. Every birthday was a giant cake. Kay was firm but fair. And even up until now, we had a WhatsApp group. So all I can say, and Kay was the glue of that WhatsApp group. You know, people come and go, managers come and go, but he was still around. So all I've got to say is rest in power and love you, boss.
Thank you very much. Do we still have any other person? Any more person? Okay, you want to come up, please?
Thank you. OMOKAYODE. Similarly with Sanjay, I worked with Kay. It's funny actually because I was based in a different branch to him. And we didn't have many black male managers in the company we worked in, but there were a lot of black people. And it was just nice to actually see someone who represented, you know, as a black man who was in a position of power. But being an African man, a Niger as well, there were a lot of rumors that went around the company like, oh, okay, he's tough, he's strict, he's this, he's that. And I was given the opportunity to actually go and work in his office because I was based in Haringey. He managed an office in Brent, and that's where all of the lovely colleagues, the troublesome crew in the back you see there. And so I remember going down there and working there, and I'm telling you, I was supposed to, I think, only be there for about 2 weeks when I was working with Laura, and you know, we were helping people find jobs. And the first thing I noticed is it was like a family in that branch. He was such a sweet guy, he was so loving, he was so cool. All the rumors that I'd heard, they were false. He was so welcoming. I never actually got to see the custard cream.
And the biscuit thing, I think I was younger then, I was too busy eyeing up the ladies. And Kay would always say to me, Kwame. He would just give me that look. He was like an uncle, really loving guy. And it's funny because when it reached about, I think like Sanjay said, 2012, 2011, you know, the company got disbanded and many people went to job centers and so forth. And I was kept on and I went to another thing. Then I formed my own company, doing recruitment. And he was one of the few people, especially from a senior level, who stayed following me on social media. I never really was on social media a lot up until that point. Now you can't get me off it. And I remember seeing Kay from a different light. You know, him and his beautiful wife. They were always out at weddings, Nigerian, Ankara, what have you. And he inspired me again. And that was the only way I actually kept in touch with good old ESO, you know, through social media. And, you know, in the last couple of years, I think leading up to pandemic and that, I never got a chance to really speak to him. And I think the lady earlier, Kay, mentioned give people their flowers while they're here. And I wish I had said everything that I'm saying now to him. But I'm pretty sure he knows how I felt about him. It was big respect, big love. And Kay, rest in peace, man. It's a sad thing to hear you go, but your legacy lives on. And the energy you gave to everybody, you can see in this room what a great man he was and still is in our hearts. So we thank you, Kay.
Thank you very much. So we still have a lot of people who still want to speak, but we have to be very mindful of time. We are now running about 4 o'clock, so we're not going to extend the time. So we barely have about 30 minutes because we've got to tidy up. So I've been told that the lady at the back. Sorry, which one? The lady here? Okay, sure, let me see. Okay, thank you.
Just explain what it is.
Thank you.
Sorry, she's going to read, I think it was actually printed in the program as well. It's called, I'll say it in Yoruba, it's an oriki. An oriki is like a poetic praise of a family, so it's associated with the family. So she's going to read it in Yoruba, so please pardon us if you don't understand Yoruba.
Yes, and I'll also say pardon me if I don't get some of the pronouncements correct. Well, I'll try. Is it mic off?
It's on. Just close it.
Okay. Ọmọ ẹ̀ṣọ́ Oníkòyí, arógun Másà, ọmọ arógun Yọ̀, ẹ̀ṣọ́ Adúrójà, ó ti gbogbo lójú ogun, iwájú ni wọ́n ti ń gba ọ̀tá, wọn ò kì í gba ọ̀tá, wọn ò kì í gba ọ̀fà lẹ́yìn, ọmọ ẹ̀ṣọ́ apara, ogun bí ẹni pa ilé, Ìjẹ̀ṣà òṣèré, ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ osùn. Ilé ni ọmọ wa ti ń mú iná lọ sóko, ọmọ ẹlẹ́gba gbèje ẹrú, ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀gbẹ̀rún ìwọ̀fà, àtàrí àjànàkú, kìí ṣe ẹrù ọmọdé, wọ́n ń lé bọ̀ lẹ́yìn, ó ń lé ara iwájú, ọmọ ọ̀dọ́lé Odùmírìn, Sùnre o.
Thank you very much. Please.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joseph Oladipo. Funny enough, Kay is one of the very few people who knows my full name. And yes, I will never speak about him in past tense because it will forever be in my memory. We were classmates. We were co-troublemakers. But thank goodness we've done well for ourselves. He would look at me and when I start my while, I say, Joseph, I'll keep quiet. Now, in school, we would come to school early. We went to St. Gregory's College, obviously, and the first thing you do in the morning is play football, dormitory soccer. Some of the guys here will attest to that. And by the time we get into class, we are tired, we start sleeping. And teacher will, isn't it fantastic when your French teacher happens to be your mom's best mate? That was a very fortunate situation I found myself. So when the teacher tells us to go and stand in the back of the class, he'll be standing in that corner, I'll be in that corner. And guess what? We'll still be sleeping. It's a great loss, especially for the family and for the friends and well-wishers. But most importantly, for this great institution of ours called St. Gregory's College, we will really, really miss this guy. I've never seen so much commitment, so much dedication. It doesn't take nonsense from anybody. The members know that. He's very level-headed, but God, is he committed? And we will really, really miss him. Nigerian to the core, proudly Gregorian, but absolutely Ijesha boy. We would really, really miss him, and we thank God that he's in another place to continue the next chapter of his assignments, and he's not gone. He will be forever missed, but he will not be gone forever. Funnily enough, I only found out pretty later on, a few days ago, that we were in-laws as well. It's very, 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 very funny. So without much ado, we would like to do something that I know he will be really happy and proud of. We Gregorians are here to support him. And there's a very popular song, which used to be a football song, which some of us have converted into the school song. And I would like us to come forward and sing the grand old theme for OMOKAYODE. Okay, we'll have to wait a little bit for my brother to join us, and we'll take it from there. Which of you's got the best voice? Chris? Yep. You've got the best voice here? I'm good at other things, but not my voice. I know the lyrics, Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. For the grand old team to play for, there is a grand old thing to know. When you read the history, it is enough to make your heart go wow. We don't care whether we win, lose or draw, for all we have is fair. And we only know there is going to be a match, as St. Gregory's College must be there, Gregs, Gregs, G-R-E-G-O-R-Y-S, Gregory! Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, do we see how many other persons who wants to give their tribute? Anybody? Anyone else? Oh, please go ahead. Hi, my name is Yinka Dowdy. I haven't seen Kay for at least, 15, 16 years. We went to FSS Sokoto in 1982, so we were in school together for about a year. And we lost touch then and met at a party about 15, 16 years ago. And we both promised to keep in touch, and as the lady said earlier on, we didn't. And it's a lesson for us all to do so. I first met Kay, as I say, in Sokoto, and those who know Nigeria, Sokoto is in the middle of nowhere in the north, in the middle of the, very close to the Sahara Desert.
And it was a kind of punishment from our parents, for those of us that didn't do well in school. You were sent to these boarding schools to learn by force. So there were days when there was no running water. It was a federal school, but it was tough. I mean, there was a day we got given jollof rice, and it tasted lovely, and the meat was delicious. And Kay asked the chef, you know, what kind of meat was that?
Oh no.
Yes, oh yes. And the chef said, camel. Exactly. So he went, he was furious. You can't do that. You should have told us before you served it. Blah, 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 blah. Nothing came of it. But that was Kay. He could argue from now till next week. And it doesn't matter what the issue is. And one of the reasons we never got on at the beginning is we're both big-headed and we know a little bit about everything. And that meant that we could stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning arguing. But as some other people have said earlier on, he'll have your back. Whatever you do, whenever you need him, whatever time of the day, give him a call. Yeah, sorry guys, it's just, may his soul rest in peace. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we still have any other person? Anyone? Okay, please, can you come over, please? Thank you.
Good morning, all. Or afternoon, sorry. My name is Wale Fagudo. Ash Walex. So that's what you call me. I call him Ash. Never call his name actually, apart from Ash. He's my friend. He's my brother. He's my roommate. He's my roommate. My best man. He's my best man. We did everything. We traveled together. We ate together. He hated the cold. Didn't like the cold. Never liked it. He had a fine collection of jumpers, and I said, for what I would call a deformity, you've carried it with style. So he had all these jumpers he would wear, and you would think he loved jumpers. No, he hated the cold, but he wore stylish jumpers. I remember his colleagues were talking about how he wears a suit all the time and his cravat, and he hated the cold. But he carried it with style. I can talk, you know. He was my bed man, and of course, him was my maid in honor. Yeah? My wife's maid. I remember we traveled, went to Benin, and then from Benin we went to Malaysia. They didn't focus on what they were supposed to be doing, but focused on themselves, which was fine. There was always an excuse to be in another car instead of this car. Every time we turned around, we couldn't find them. What was going on? But a good story leads to another good story. And here we are, 6 months later. I was still the best man. I'm stubborn, he's stubborn. We're both stubborn people. We could talk all night. We lived together all the time. We lived together from uni. We lived together at Queen's Drive. We lived together in London. Till eventually I traveled, I left the shores. And I remember he threw a big party for me. And I have this photograph with his thumb that his famous pose. He laughs, broad laugh. Hands in the air, full of life. He loved that. This is good man. I love him dearly. I'm so sorry. I didn't see you as much as I should. That I left these shores and I wasn't around as much. I don't know what else I'm sorry about, but I'm happy that his wife is here, his son, Victor, and we're here. And I will always remember you fondly. Remember your jokes. I remember the names that we used to come about. Everything had a name. Nobody existed, and you may not know it, but you had your name. I don't care who you are. Sister, brother, you had a name. I mean, it's not a name you know. Always had a name. And you'll laugh once the name, and we agree that's the name. So we speak to each other. We never spoke. We had our language. We had our language. We had our language. Okay, wow. Thank you, thank you. May his soul rest in peace, and he will want us to live our lives. That is what he will want. He wouldn't want us to be sad. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we still have any other person who would like to pay tribute? Any other person? Okay, we're running up to the end, so do we have any other? Okay, so before I call up girls, you want? Okay, please come on. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think everything that can be said of Esh has been said. And it's really interesting that we have people from the various stages of his life. I met Esh, as we called him, in Sokoto Federal School of Arts and Science, where we did our A-levels together. And so I've known him for over 40 years. Just as everyone has said, he's loyal, principled, supportive, and just a great friend. One thing that I just want to add that everyone knows is how happy he was when he met Kosium. He was so happy. And I think within this space of 3 hours, he decided that she was the one for him. And that's a fact. He was so proud of Victor. He was so proud of Kosium. He was also a great introducer. Just personally, it was through him that I met Wale, who was my best man, and his brother, who's at the back, Dio. I'll always remember him. I remember him every day because he gave my wife the nickname, as what he said, and he gave my wife Lady Lodge, and that's what all my friends call her. But it's so wonderful to hear all the wonderful tributes and great things they had to say about him. Yeah, goodbye, my friend. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we still have any other person? Anyone? Okay, thank you. So please help me in welcoming Oziana Sokeba.
Can you hear me? Yes. Gosh, thank you so much, everyone, for making today special. You all have done more than I could ever imagine. When I think of what I thought today would be like, just being here for me has been comforting, encouraging, and strengthening, because to grieve alone can be difficult. But when you have people around you, it makes the journey a little bit better. I do know I'm going to have to do my private grieving eventually, but honestly, this last month, I must say, it's just been overwhelming. The show of love, the generosity, all of you have pulled out the stops for your friend, your brother, your in-law, your colleague. Have I forgotten any other thing? No, I think he was just everything to everyone. But I'm truly grateful for your presence here. One thing I prayed for when I kept on praying about send forth of my husband was that everyone would be comforted. I soon realized that I wasn't the only one grieving, that he meant so much to so many people. And I felt it would be selfish to grieve and ask everyone to comfort me when everyone was looking for comfort themselves. And so I said to myself when I prayed, a colleague of mine had come to my house and he prayed, and the scripture that I remembered, maybe I'd forgotten rather, I don't know where it is now in the Bible, but it says, comfort others with the comfort with which you are being comforted. Thank you for that. And honestly, Kay used to say to me, God, you're strong. You're very strong. And I'll say to him, no, I'm very weak. I'm always afraid to hold the mic, to take chances. And so anything that you see of me today, my colleagues are here, or anything you see of me at all, I had Kay at the back. He was always my cheerleader. If you all said he was a manager, imagine you being married to a manager who manages your own life. Kay would tell me, no, you will go into that meeting and you will speak. And I'm like, okay, sir. You know. And even when I wanted to cower, he would say, you're strong, you can do this. You have the ability. And then he would always remind me of my faith. Where is your faith? You know, you so proudly boast of it, so where is it? And that always held me in good stead. I will remember that, yes, I had Kay, but I had a bigger God behind Kay. So we both had God behind us. He believed very strongly that God was behind him, and so God was behind us. And therefore, with God and Kay behind me, wow, you can imagine the combination. Thank God, God is still God. And even though Kay is gone, God is there. And since he was watching over both of us, I guess I still have the best father in the world. So I pray that, and I hope that everyone has been comforted, because I would truly, truly like everyone to leave safe in the knowledge that you all have been comforted with the moments that we have spent together from all walks of life. You know, everything that Kay was about, you all represented. And so all of you to hear about him and to see that you are not alone in receiving the grace of God in a man. He was a good man. He did so much good, honestly he did. Sometimes I will not lie to you. You guys frustrated me. Because he would give so much time. He would be on the phone counseling. He would be fighting for people. He would, oh my goodness, Gregorians, could you guys not have those meetings? We never had dinner early because on a Sunday, because Kay would say, I have a meeting. And I would say, what meeting? Because I wasn't sure whether it was a family meeting. The ESO'S family meeting, and Sister Abby knows about those ones, or whether it was a Gregorian meeting. And I always hear, Mr. Somebody, can you put off your mic? And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. You know, but he was so passionate about anything he did. So passionate. And he loved every single one of you dearly. Honestly, he did. He would fight for anybody. As we heard, he's a great debater. And someone said here, policies and procedures. Oh, I got the brunt of that. And I'm sure Lara knows that about me in the office. My husband was always about doing things right. He would say, have you read the policy? Have you read the procedure? Follow it. You can never go wrong if you're doing what is the laid down policy or procedure. And then you will fight using the policy and procedure. But if you don't, then you're caught out. So always read it first and know what your rights are so that you can fight whenever the time came. You know, you've read his Oriki, Esho Ikoyi, they fight. They don't run away from a fight. He was a peaceful man. Kay wouldn't talk very much. Sometimes in the house, you know, he'll be watching a program, I'll be on my phone. I'm sorry, I love Kay. So he used to call me SK wife, South Korean wife, because I was always watching South Korean dramas. And I so want to go to Seoul. And he would say, okay, but you go alone, no, I'm not going to go and see any Koreans. Oh my God, thank you so much, Jesus. I'm very happy that I shared my husband with all of you. I'm so happy that he gave you all what he gave me. Maybe he gave me a little more, but he sure did give you guys all. And nothing you said today has surprised me. I want to personally pick out someone here, and forgive me. Obina, you were really a son to him. He wanted the best for you. And so please, just keep on being good. You're his in-law in the office. Yes. And he will tell you, come home and say, Obina did this and that and that and that and that. He's like my son, Victor. But I'm going to give him the best training, you know. I'm like, you know your child, man. He could care less. He just wanted Obina to do well. And I pray to God that you will be everything he imagined you will be. So I know I can ramble off. I know Lara has warned me about rambling on. my colleague. But guys, thank you so much. God bless every single one of you. And I pray, the scripture, I can't say that, we all know that there's a time to be born and there's a time to die. So for me to say I don't pray that we will have this again would be a lie. Because God has our times and seasons in His hands. But I pray that with the life that we have now, we'll do the best that we can. We'll do the best, the good. We will invest in people just the way that He did. And I'll try my best to keep in touch. I will surely try my best to keep in touch. There's so many, honestly, my door has been a revolving door. And I don't think my neighbors have seen so many people in all my time of living in that house. They surely knew that that something was happening in my flat because the buzzer was going off the hook. But I'm very happy that we got to share this moment of grief together. And like I said before, I just pray to God that everyone is comforted. And I wish you all a safe trip back to your homes and your destinations you're going to, you're traveling back. God bless you.
Thank you very much. We have come to the end of the program. So, most of all are Christians, so permit me to ask everyone to stand up if you don't mind. Please, thank you. As we share the grace, and the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit, be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Surely, goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. God bless. Thank you. God bless you.
Try to excel. Fantastic. I am so proud. Taking a picture because I want to take a picture, guys.
All right.
Oh, please. Please.
God bless you.
I'm very proud.
Sorry to met you again under such circumstances. You're doing well.
She's trying you.
That is your strength.
Please don't leave her. Call her. Please.
That is your strength.
Call her. Because you know the burial has already taken place, and that's when everybody. That's when. Koyemi, I don't get it. And I want to click.